On a hot July night in Atlanta, the 20th anniversary of a unique Olympic Games celebrated. Relics of that event can be seen all over the bustling metropolis. In September 1990, Atlanta was selected by the International Olympic Committee to host the 1996 Summer Games. Many around the world were shocked that the southern city had won that bid.
That we could win the Olympic Games and probably one of the biggest upsets ever. That says to me that we as a community have the capability to do whatever we want to do.
Billy Payne was the chief financial architect for Atlanta's bid and helped change the funding landscape for future games. Payne's plan weighed heavily on private support, leading him to convince sponsors like Nike, Coca-Cola, and Delta Airlines to back the games at no cost to taxpayers.
And that's television rights, tickets, and sponsorship. And that's a fairly close allocation of what our games were.
And the revenue from those sources paid for the entire 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games and more. But the reality is, as much as the Atlanta funding model is the envy, if you look at the London Olympics 4 years ago and the upcoming Rio Games, the host government pays for most of the games. The Atlanta Games will also be remembered for the Centennial Park bombing. Mike Epstein was there and recalls the panic.
Then people started pouring out of the park, sirens started going off, and I realized that there was something serious going on.
Although the tragedy of the Centennial Olympic Park bombing will always be part of the history, so will the grounds where it happened.
Once again, we built only with private funds, the largest urban park built in America in the last 50 years. And it continues to serve as a magnet for the development of downtown Atlanta.
Preparations for the Atlanta Olympics lasted more than 6 years and had an economic impact of at least $5.14 billion. Over 2 million visitors came to Atlanta, and approximately 3.5 billion people around the world watched the games. The 96 Atlanta Olympics created an economic model for future host cities, yet most are still relying heavily on taxpayer money to bring the world to their doorstep.